Hello and welcome to Star Wars Comic News Review presented by Tales from the Darkside. This week we've got new comic releases, and will we side with Admiral Ackbar or General Solo for this week's It's a Trap featuring gaming greats? We'll have the reaction to the latest Dark Saber release, and we will also give our opinions on Bad Batch Episode 4. And me and Wookie got some of the funniest jokes you've ever heard. All
They
this
better be
coming
better
up.
than last week. They better be. All right, welcome everybody. Hey, listen, great intro there, Jedi. Jedi, I think you're gonna do the intros. Go around the room, tell us what you got. Everybody's looking forward to those, so get them done.
Okay, well, it is time for intros. Are you ready? When he's not rescuing storylines or blowing up rumors, he's the front man for, oh yeah, a Macho Man tribute band. Check out their hit song, oh yeah, from their debut album, oh yeah. It's Marco.
Oh yeah.
Hey, this guy's beard is wanted across the galaxy for shoplifting grooming products, and he's guilty by association. It's the mighty Solowookie.
Yay! Wookiee Vision 2022.
This guy right here, he lives for playtime, but not until he picks up all his toys and cleans up his room. To him, they're not toys, they're research. It's Pete Renovision. And he's the professor of prophecy and canon. His courses include Retcon 101, Disney don't care. Retcon 202, they just want your money. 303, what the hell? That ain't right. And 404, so what if it pisses you off? Disney doesn't care. It's JJ Maxwell. And on his first day of the council, Yoda made fun of this guy for the size of his lightsaber. No respect. Yep, that's me, Jedi Johnson 22.
All right, Jedi Johnson. That's some good stuff. A lot of good stuff going on. I know there's references to a lot of things. If you're not over there checking out Renovision, make sure you are. If you're from Renovision watching this, make sure you give us a thumbs up down there. Make sure you give us a thumbs up over here on Tales from the Flip Side. And make sure you go back and watch that MCM. I will correct one note. When they said a lot of people are cutting cable, it's less than 30%. That's all I'm going to say. We're not buying DC. Okay, so we might have some people joining a little bit late. It's been a long week. It's been a long weekend, and this might not be the shortest show either. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. The chat's already going crazy, so we do appreciate it. Let's start off with some Star Wars news. We can talk about some comics. We can talk about I almost just shut the whole entire show down. This is why I'm not good at running things. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here, maybe. We're going to talk about some of the comics, some of the stuff that released. Obviously, Star Wars released a little bit of comic news. The FOC for this week is already passing. So we're doing next month's already. We're going to get the new High Republic. We've showed the regular cover here before for number 8, but the secondary cover that's a little bit interesting. And I think we're going to see her already. But the big point on this is we're going to get Comac, we're going to get Wreath, and we're going to get the Hopper Padawans. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't know, guys. I read the book. We're going to see a lot of these characters that came out of the second book, Into the Darkness. High Republic has had its challenges. The starting out portion of High Republic, I think the first arc, we can all be honest, wasn't exactly maybe what we thought was going to be up to par. You know what I mean? Wasn't exactly what we wanted out of High Republic. Yeah. Once again, though, we've read a lot into it. It's kind of corny. Now, the one question that I've been brought up, and I kind of see it a lot, is do you guys truly love like some of the characters? And when you get into the Darkness characters, everybody I know that read Into the Darkness really liked that group that had Geode,
McConaughey, the Rock, and
the Rock, yeah. And then they had the McConaughey pirate in it, and that characters. They're coming to adventures this same month in 8. But as we can see, because we're going to get Tomac, we're going to get Silas over here. We're going to get a bunch of the other characters. They're also going to be doing a High Republic crossover. Those are the characters I think we've all been waiting for. I don't think a lot of us really care too much about, Kiwi. We know she's going to be one of the Lost 20, but that's way down the line. I don't think we care about Chris because, like, she is what she is, but they covered a lot of her in the novel. Those weren't things we really cared about. I think the off characters, the funny characters, the characters that people want, and I heard it the other day, they're saying that Geode could be the next, like, Baby Yoda, and I don't think they're too far off. No, I mean, I know it seems like a little bit stretch, right? But, like,
no, I don't think it is. I think you're
I don't think it is. Like, I think people who are knocking it were people who didn't read the book because it sounds stupid. And I don't want everybody else's opinion that read the book. But when I read that book, I was like, this is going to be dumb. They're talking about a rock, right? Yeah. And by the end of it, he is a standout character, or it is a standout character.
I really liked Wreath, too. Like, he so far as the stories that have centered around different characters, I liked his the best. Yeah.
So we're gonna see some of it in 7. 8's really, we're probably gonna, they're still doing that cameo first appearance thing. Reese showed up in kind of a flashback, I think, in 5.
Yeah.
But to have an Umbrum, I mean, we're gonna have a bunch of new characters that are coming out. They're gonna bring everybody in from those 2 books. If you haven't seen it, we'll link in here on the replay. We'll link up the review of Into the Darkness. It's gonna be great. But this is probably one of the books in 8. Plus the Hutts. I mean, you can't go wrong when you're, in my opinion, the Hutt thing that they're doing already, how they're reintroducing the whole clan. They haven't even brought into Jabba yet. We might even get to see, who Jabba's parents are and a couple of other things. It's really, ponytail. Yeah, I know, right? It's really kind of cool. So they're doing a good job.
Get to see Jabba the Hutt in his stinky stage of.
Yeah. So yes, because what is he 600?
He'd be small.
He's going to be smaller than he was when we saw him last time.
Yeah, he looks like he's wearing a shirt with some skulls on it.
Make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. That's going to be good. Now, the Bounty Hunters, Star Wars Bounty Hunters, they also gave us 3 of 5. We already, some of us have already seen the entire number 1 for Bounty Hunters, and it's really good, guys. It's really good.
Some of us.
One of us. One.
There's a reason why I don't have a diamond account anymore because they pulled it because of stuff like that when I started sharing it. So we won't be sharing what happens in Bounty Hunters 1. But for everybody who does have a diamond account, guess what? They've all seen it. Now, there's a lot of guessing about who's in a hood, who's in a cloak, who's in a whatever. We're going to get to some of it later. I think it's actually Han Solo's ex-girlfriend. What's her name? Kira, Qira.
Yeah,
remember the girl from the Han Solo movie? I think that's really what they're going to get at because they really are bringing everybody at. I will tell you, there's some cool stuff that goes on with our next 2 groups here that we're going to see. They coming out with a Forlom and a Zuckuss series book. And this kind of gave away what happened in the Bounty Hunter thing. So, I can't talk anymore about it because I don't really, even though we spoil a lot of stuff. But it's going to be funny. And it actually is kind of heartwarming. Zuckuss and Forlom do have a big-ish part in Bounty Hunter 1 book. So that's kind of cool. That we're going to see them. Also, I can't wait till they get a whatever their variant is for that one. Here we go. Bounty Hunters number 15. This is a great series. Now, Destics that everybody's talking about are coming out in 13. That's what the Shadow Assassin character is. You're going to get probably a preview there, a regular in 14. For those people who don't, there we go, 14. For those people who don't know this Destics character, she actually has shown up a couple times before in the Star Wars universe. There was a game, and it was before, what was the name of the game? Do you remember? It was a mobile game.
Uprising.
Uprising. Yeah, they did Uprising. It was out for like 2 years. She showed up in there.
She looks like she's part of Storm Shadow's Ninja Force is what I'm saying there.
So what's really cool about it, and we forgot about this, and unfortunately Jen, she stayed on MCM too late last night and right now is sleeping. Jen, sorry I gave it away, but she's sleeping right now because whatever. Anyways, because we all get tired. This is the thing. There's more than one Night Sister. We forgot about her. Destics is actually, what is she? She's the daughter of a Night Sister. So wouldn't she
daughter of a Night Sister that died? Yeah,
she's a night niece.
A night niece. It's kind of like the same one that shows up in the Cal Cassis game.
She's got the blood in her.
Yeah, she's got the blood in there. We do see this and know this because of this. Was this 93? This is the isn't this the subscriber cover for Star Wars Insider?
Previews cover.
What's number is that?
160.
160.
Yep. Previews.
Oh, the PX. Okay.
Yeah. Subscribers never have the UPC on them.
Dude, you know what though? There was 2. Actually, we should have pulled up the other one too, because if I recall correctly, there was 2 versions, an A and a B cover for 160. Had Luke Skywalker on it. Came with cards. One card is the remake of the card that Jedi Johnson gave me, the Wonder Bread Han Solo card. Thank you very much for all those people that don't know what card I'm talking about. Comes in, it's a 2-pack. One comes with Solo, and I can't remember what the other one comes with. But either way, look out for those. I have a feeling they're going to kind of get hot because people are thinking this character is going to be a big deal. She probably will. People are going to love her. She's got a great backstory.
As long as Valance there doesn't kill her.
They're not going well because we already see her in 15.
Why can't Dengar be the one to kill her?
Well, I think she might.
Dengar doesn't kill anyone.
Dengar's face. Yeah, I think she might mess up Dengar's face more. We know she's going to at least make three of the Bounty Hunter books. So that's
yeah.
And after what I know happens to Forlom and Zuckuss, I think they're not really killing anybody off.
Isn't she supposed to be more of an assassin type character too, right?
She is an assassin, right?
Not
There
really
are some
bounty
people.
hunter, so.
There are some rumors going around the internet that, like in Bounty Hunter 1, she's underneath the cloak leading this big conglomerate, which isn't the case. I think it's actually the Red Dawn might be coming back for all those Red Dawn fans. Spoiler alert. Yeah, not that Red Dawn. Crimson Dawn is what I mean. Not Red Dawn. And there's like some links, right? Like they're doing all these Crimson covers. Everybody's like, why the hell are they doing Crimson covers? Then the characters there. You got the girlfriend of Han Solo showing up, who was part of Crimson Dawn. For all those people that don't know, that was the group that was linked with Darth Maul.
And you got a character right here linked to Dathomir.
Yeah, and then you got a Dathomir character here. Right. So I think we're going to have a little bit of Crimson Dawn coming back through these books. It fit into the timeline roughly. We're not going to get that far into it. We're not going to completely spoil all this for you because I know we got a lot of fans that are real fans of some of the stuff that's going on, and I don't want to just read out the book to you. So there we go. That's why we can all read and buy books. We got Afra going through the same section. Now, this is very interesting because I know everybody's excited, including our friend over at Drunken Chat. And if you aren't catching it, the top 10 on Friday on this channel. We do not see any word, and actually Solo's favorite character too. We see no word or no pictures of the alien that blew up in the sun. There is no what's his name?
Dirge.
There's no Dirge. So this is 2 episodes after we saw Dirge on the cover, which would be the episode before this, the book before this, which is 12, and the prologue before that, which is 11, where they reference that he's going to show up. I have a feeling grand opening, grand closing, that maybe the theory that some of us had that's just the armor might be it. Pete, you don't agree?
It's a crossover. He doesn't have to be in this title. It could be in any
if it's the Bounty Hunter Wars, though, you bring in the baddest bounty hunter that nobody can kill, and it's just a gooey thing, right? Wouldn't you do that? Would you not do that? All right, me and Pete are going to put a bet down on if he shows up in this book or not. Very good. All right. Not really. We aren't putting a real bet down. Wink, wink, teek, teek. You know what I mean?
I bet you 10 Republic credits.
Good. That he will or won't?
That he will. He'll
show up at that one? All right. I got your 10 Republic credits, too.
Bucks for 1,000.
I take them in envelopes.
You can use my code or whatever. Whatever they are.
Yeah, right.
All right. Yeah, Chenko.
And then we got Darth Vader, which is surprisingly a really good book. It's still a good read. I think it's probably one of the more solid books. All these books are really good, to be honest with you. Afra's been really good lately. So has Bounty Hunters. The one book that I think we're going to have a little bit of problem with, and they're still doing a little bit of the Exegol stuff going on in here, and he's going to get in front of the entire Hut Council, which will be great because then we're going to get to see all the characters of the Hut Council. We've seen 2 or 3 of them before last week. Check out the video there. We covered some of the great Huts that we might see that will take over for Jabba later on in the TV show. So hopefully you see a lot of these first appearances because yes.
Just curious. I was going to ask, there haven't been previews or anything for those David Nakayama wanted poster things yet, have there?
What's inside of?
Yeah. No, like the covers. I haven't seen them. I don't know.
Oh, you did?
Posters?
Yeah. It's on the solicit in the middle.
Yeah,
there.
No, I'll show it to you. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Well, we'll do them next week.
We'll do them next week.
Yeah, we'll do them next week. Yes. Anything else? No, good. Okay.
I was just curious.
Yep, I will give them next week for you so that we all have it. This is probably the most disappointing. Unfortunately, this is probably the most disappointing book of the series. And I was just talking about Jason Aaron last night, and I wish he'd come back to write it because I like Charles, but yeah.
It went off the rails.
I don't have much to say about it.
I feel like the first 8 of this run were good.
Yeah, me too.
And then it just kind of went off the rails when they started, especially the preludes and stuff. It's like, oh, it's Luke training. I don't care. I know Luke trains.
Yeah.
To be a Jedi. I already knew that.
Yeah, and this is one thing that Joe says too here. It's just kind of cool. The tie-ins don't really matter because most of these are such good books that we're pulling all of them. The one that I'm probably just there's nothing exciting happening in Star Wars at this point. It's just literally a recap of the other books.
Hey, sometimes you got to eat your vegetables.
It's true.
Yeah, but if I wanted to recap, I just read the other books or watch our show, which we usually cover the other books anyways. Either way, that's the one book that I was kind of semi-disappointed in, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. Speaking of things that are getting better, for those people that didn't check it out in the FOC, this was a last-minute FOC. So if you have your Diamond accounts, or if you could call up your comic book store, they do those FOC insiders every once in a while. It's not the PX. They just drop this usually halfway through the week. I think this came in halfway through this week. So on Monday, make sure you get them in.
So it's not the regular. It's not the subscription. It's not the PX.
Nope.
It's a fourth cover.
Yeah, if they drop it on the week of FOC, they drop it usually. So like the new FOCs that come after Monday because of late on Tuesdays. Wednesday, they usually drop this. So this probably got dropped on Wednesday night or Thursday. Yeah. This is does anybody remember? Probably that's what they do typically. It's usually a Wednesday.
I think it was Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, well, Wednesday. There you go. So they call it the FOC. Depending on what time zone you're in, it might be night, not. This is the FOC cover. Make sure you're calling up your comic book stores. It is dope. By the way, the PX covers another Grogu in
Mando.
Yeah, so if you're a Grogu Mandalorian guy, make sure you get that or girl.
This is Mandalorian. I think the first time we see Mandalorian Ahsoka.
Yeah, that is Mandalorian Ahsoka.
Yep. So
yeah. Oh, that is Mandalorian Ahsoka. Very good.
Oh, yeah.
So there we go. Make sure you're calling up. Make sure you're getting that. Joe, real quickly, I'm going to hit some of the comments. Joe, Vader has been one of the best from up to down, the whole run, all three. This is because where we go into the third arc. It has been probably one of the best so far. I'd agree. Jamie, it's always good to see you, brother. Stick Boy, I cannot believe you are up. I can't believe I'm up doing the show. I can't believe you're still up after last night's tomfoolery that went on MCM. Astro looking good, my man. Speaking of a couple other things, because we have Astro on here, hey, let's give a shout out to JJ and Double J Comments. He doesn't post a lot on the IG, but when he posts, you better listen because this dude was posting this early and often.
Opinions, though, is it an NWA cover swipe or not? I don't know.
Or is it holes? Yeah.
It looks like NWA to me. I don't know.
It's a popular perspective. I will say that.
The only reason I said holes was because, like on NWA, it starts with Dre.
Not to holes.
Yeah.
Which one is Ice Cube?
Because it would be like Dre would be further down, right? So like Moore would be further down, and then Chris would be the DOC, and then Ice Cube would be the twins. He'd be both twins, maybe.
Yeah. Or
Eazy-E would be Kiwi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, though, the High Republic cover is a bit more threatening because Chris has a weapon pointed down at whoever.
Like, is this what we're doing here?
Yeah. They're pointing a gun on the NWA cover, too. It's just cut off. I didn't do a very good job.
I did, Astro. Thank you very much. I did get one there. I actually think I have two now. A lot of people were out there getting them early. We try to release it on our IG so everybody can go out there and get them before the scalpers get them. I hope everybody got a copy.
Somebody didn't check with anybody else before he put it on IG.
Who?
That'd be me.
Oh yeah, no, it's all right. I already had the scouts out there running for it, but it was good. Get it off there first because a lot of times when we mention stuff in chat, it gets taken. We tell other people, and then next thing you know, people are trying to sell the stuff. And
to Astro Wizard's earlier comment about it looks like the art from the eBay exclusive trading cards for the Insider cover, they do reuse art for Insider covers a lot, so it could be that.
Oh, you're talking about the Ahsoka thing. That's Ahsoka, Hey, that's actually a good call there. Maybe we gotta get Wizard on the.
It might be because they reuse cover art a lot.
That really does look like it. Awesome, amazing, good grab. All right, so let's talk about this week. This is also something else that JJ put into the thing because we've talked. Actually, I think I was talking this with Steve Horn and maybe JJ. I can't remember. This book is sold out at Midtown already, and I'm going to explain why. Hopefully, I think we can explain why. But this is based off of the Jason Fry, what was it, 2015, 2016 book?
15. It was one of the first canon ones.
Yeah, it's a story about Luke Skywalker. And it's not the first time we've actually seen this comic. This was actually in the German version of Star Wars Insider, which is called Star Wars.
Because, I got all my German Star Wars insiders on hand. So
well, it's not insiders. They call it Star Wars Magazina or whatever. I don't speak French. I could bring my wife down. She does. I probably should have done that to be a little bit more accurate, but oh well. They put into 4. If you look at the bottom section, the little bar there, you see the first thing, which is the TIE fighter. They were talking about the video or the fly-in for what was that terrible J.J. Abrams movie? Whatever. Then you have a little Grievous, and then next to that is they're talking about this comic, The Weapon of a Jedi. This is where it first showed up. Was in these. This is number 19. They also had it in 2120, which is the Lords of the Sith cover, and then the droid cover, which is 22. That tells the full arc. So anybody who's got the hookup on German Star Wars magazines, let us know, because I know we're still looking for a couple of these. But the original story was already put down there, and the original art is from that, which is really cool. So it's kind of a reprint of those two things. Two characters that I think is why the reason they're selling out, because the story's okay. And I actually don't even think people realize about the second character, but we'll get into it, and maybe we'll use it next week, is Sarco Plank, who we know this. If this character looks familiar, it's because the one picture on the left is from the movie. He was in the movie The Force Awakens. He was like, remember when, I have it. But the other picture, this is from the Japanese magazine. The other picture is in the comic book that's in Japanese.
He was in the
magazine.
bar, right?
Yeah, when he's trying to drink water or whatever, when he's trying to get water, he's in a tent. He makes some comments to him. But he also shows up, JJ, in someplace else. Where else does he show up?
So he shows up in Destroyer Down, which was a IDW miniseries. He's briefly in that too.
Listen, I will say this is a double cameo. I don't care if this is a full page or not. Like, you can't. So it might have been 2 American double cameos. The first time we'll see him probably in a first full appearance because he has a lot to do. He's a real cool character in this storyline. Real cool character. The first one's a fake of him, but after the first couple pages, we should get into the real version of him. Might not show up in the first book, might show up in the second book. Either way, real cool character. The second character and more important character is Fernie. And why this is kind of cool is because, and I'm not saying this is true, but if you read the book, that Jason Frey book, she might be the new Mara Jade. Like, her and Luke, they kind of hint might, after this book ends, he might have gone back to her planet to go see what's up. Like, how you doing?
He does check in. He does go back to check in on her. We'll just say that.
Yeah, exactly. He goes back.
He's a Thundercats fan and he likes Chitara, and
she's not. No, she's actually the Domurian or whatever. They'll do a better job with it. She's one of those, like the ones that usually have the devil horns. Those are horns. Those 2 black dots. It's not drawn pretty well. Those are actually supposed to be like this. She didn't Hellboy him. No.
Nope.
I didn't have a better picture, man. I mean, what do you want me to do? I mean, there's only so much stuff I could do out of German magazines.
Marco's hunting for inserts from German magazines for this.
Yeah. I wonder why my internet's always shutting down and the government's sending me cease and desist letters. Either way, so I think she's a very interesting character. She's really cool. They probably won't get too much into it, but the reason why I think they're introducing her into the American comic books, because the story's pretty fun, but not like not one of the greatest hits. It's not something that everybody's always talking about. But if they use her as a bridge gap, if all of a sudden Luke gets a little girlfriend, you know what I mean? We could see a hand to the Emperor, if you know what I mean. And then that could be a Thrawn feed-in right there. I know that's a long one. We'll do it in It's a Trap next week. Don't worry about it. JJ, can we do it in It's a Trap? Because you've now taken over It's a Trap. So I guess I have to ask permission from you.
I suppose.
Okay.
We can work it in.
So there we go. We will do something like that. Who's the Sith Jawa? Oh, yes. He does the stick boy. Yes, he does look like a Sith Jawa. He is not quite a Sith Jawa. He isn't, but yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. And good stuff. That's all we've got for this week. Oh, no, we do. We've got another week in review. Something that really didn't tick us off, but we were all like, what is this? And we'll talk about it because it's the Dark Saber. Pete, what do we have in the Dark Saber?
Oh, you want to see? Well,
I don't want to see that.
This Dark Saber. This is the one that's down at Galaxy's Edge.
In the Disney properties. Yep. Just randomly supposed
at the actual park, but I found this on a site that was offering it. It was $380 for this thing.
Okay, now show what it looks like. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. You can stick the blade in, which kind of lights up, and then they have here. It's in somebody's hand.
Now it does
terrible.
It does come. It looks like it comes with the blade, so
it really doesn't look far off from this one I got at my Walmart.
No.
But,
it looks bad.
Those ones at the Disney park, you can't. All the blades are you can actually not interchangeable, but you can.
Right.
You can buy different. What are you shaking your head with? This one you probably can't, but you put them together.
Yeah, this one you can. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. This one you can't.
This one is confusing.
But yeah, it didn't look good to me. It looks plasticky and
yeah. But for $380, it's just that's a steep price.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how much it is at the park, but yeah,
true.
Either way, that's a big ask.
But you have this one that just this one looks dope. And I'm telling you, like, I am not forking over the $225 for these because you know me, I'm cheap and I wait till they go on clearance. But or when they have their sales at GameStops and you get like 40% off. But dude, if I'm gonna buy one, I'm buying this one, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep. For that price, yeah.
I'm definitely buying this one. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you
when the blades are lit up, this one looks really cool versus the other one that looks absolutely cheap plastic.
Yeah.
Walmart.
Yeah, I think they put too much.
Just like right back here.
They put too much of the light up bit. I think that white is just really taking away from it.
Yeah.
On this one.
I know people were excited. I saw about 8 or 9 people do it. It was a lot of people trying to get YouTube video hits, I think. And that's fine. But like, in the opinion of it, I'm not wasting my money. I probably am not going to waste my money on either.
I'm not getting either of them.
I do like the Disney case it comes in. That thing is super dope. But is it?
Is
it worth that money? No.
They all come in that. They all come in a case like that.
Right.
Yeah, well, hey, look, Ruben says he's all in, but which one? Ruben, are you in the 380 one? That one right there? Yeah, that's too much white, I think. Or are you in for the $200 one you could get at GameStop and any place else?
Entertainment Earth.
Entertainment Earth.
To answer Astro Wizard's question, the blade does look short. I think they're 32 inches or 28 or something like that. They are short for.
Yeah, it's got to be to be in her hand like that. That's got to be a short blade.
So it is short.
I was really impressed with the ones that they had at the park, anyways. But that's just me.
They do have They had a Leia Organa one too. They also came out with this week. Like from Infinites, like.
Yeah. All right,
the orange one.
So. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
I watched a couple of reviews of this. They also came out with a Ray recently, right? Because one of the reviews they were showing the difference, talking about the difference in weight and balance. They really this review was like over and beyond.
Yeah, the Ray one is big.
Weight and balance, like you can use this in battle.
Oh yeah. They were like, oh yeah, you can. This one's balanced in the hilt, and the Ray is clunky and yada yada. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, this is the thing too. He brings it up, like, and yeah. Oh, look, I love it, and I love this man's mohawk. And thanks for stopping by last night too. But here's the problem that I have with it is like at one point, no matter what your point was, if you had to have it right away, you could buy these items for retail. But there was always a little bit that would sit on the shelves, and you'd have to wait for the discount day, and you could go out and get them for what I would consider a more reasonable price. If you didn't have to have them right off the bat, you can't do that with bots and stuff anymore, unfortunately, right? Like, I mean, it just is like one of those things where, like, man, if unless you're lucky, and Jedi, you got something, you got lucky, and I picked one up too because I was going to pick it up for you, but whatever. Unless you're lucky, right? Like, you're not getting these anymore, and you're definitely not. Like, GameStop might stay in business. I know everybody's calling for their demise. But to be honest with you, one of the devices at GameStop was nobody ever bought it because everything was overpriced and everybody waited until it went on 70% off clearance. And then we'd go in there and rate it and like take all their stuff and go. But now with the toy craze and all the card craze and everything like that, you can't even keep anything at GameStop anymore. I mean, these GameStops are looking as barren as any place else. So except for they got plenty of video games.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. They buy back too many video games. That's the problem.
Well, I don't even think they're buying back video games anymore. I think they've given up on that. I think they now are just selling pops and like Black Series and the Marvel things, and that's it. Yeah. So, new game plan. There we go. Do we have great comments? Cool. We will not be covering, once again, Jamie, I appreciate the comment, but if you do want to see that, we're going to plug the show one more time. We had a lot of people on last night on MCM. We'll link the show at the back end of this. Gonzo was there. There is a link to Gonzo's newest toy pickup. Check out some of the stuff. He was at a con. He did a toy pickup down there. Make sure you check it out below. We have that down there too. Tony Fleece, who we're going to have on this show too, the writer of that great hit Stray Dogs. He's messed up in the head, man, but a great Star Wars fan. Great dude. Really great dude. He kept us on way too long last night, so that's why I'm a little bit behind and kind of.
I don't think he's messed up at all. I think he's just a great dude.
He had a dog skin hanging, and then had it. Taxidermy that was crazy. He is a good dude. He's funny as hell. All right, so check all that stuff out. Oh yeah, can we get the Ezra FX series. That's one I might actually pay for. Is the Ezra Fx Blade. Guys, leave a comment below too. Like, what blades do you guys think you'd want to see?
Can we go around the horn real quick? I'm just kind of curious. If you could get one blade, what would it be? Just around the horn, real quick.
Boy, I think I'd have to go Luke's green saber, Return of the Jedi.
See, I'm Obi-Wan's episode 4 lightsaber. That's where I'm at.
I can only have one.
Just one, brother.
I'm getting Vader's. I can only have one. I'm just getting the old school Vader.
It took me out of Azaj because you have to have 2. So I mean that's a set. You can't. So I had to go.
Okay, I'll let that one slide.
Yeah, because there's a couple sets I was thinking. Like, I like the white one. I'm torn between 6 lightsabers now.
I know, right?
The Revan one's cool. Like,
of course you are.
The Revan one is nice.
Yeah.
The purple Revan or the
the
Revan?
The Revan, the purple one, the one that ends up purple. The one that ends up purple, but it starts off in red. Damn. I do like. I mean, the Ahsoka clears are dope. Those are real dope.
Yeah.
I mean, you always got the black saber when it's done well. Is dope.
Yeah.
JJ, what do you got? Just say what you got, and I'll figure out which one.
Well, I always wanted a Kanan one, but I don't think they make a Kanan one. But or they haven't yet, at least. And I like Astro's Cal Kestis because it's the double saber.
The double saber.
Pull apart, you can make one long saber.
Yeah.
Dude,
you know who else I like is Oppresses. I got it. I figured out what it is. I would like Maul's Oppress combination one that he used when Obi-Wan ended up killing him, which also was a staff thing, but also had like the hook in it. That's the one I would probably get because that thing's so messed up that like how else would you get it?
There is a saber that I do want, but I know they don't make it, and I want it super official. And I can't remember the guy's name, but in Clone Wars, the little Wookiee, the Padawan Wookiee that goes in the youngling, and
with the wood kill,
because that's
one.
Kashyyyk wood, and man,
the Yoda saber's cool too. These are some great answers, man.
The Yoda would probably work better in my hand because I'm kind of short.
I always like the Temple Guard sabers just because they're yellow. I always like the yellow
double ones.
Yeah,
the Leia one, the orange one's good too.
Good saber.
But I think if you could get the one like Oppresses was really cool. It was really different because it was kind of a staff thing. There's one other staff one that's really dope, but I didn't want to go because it was a pike saber technically and like whatever. I was
thinking also the Inquisitors are pretty cool, but I would definitely. I mean, if you think I'm going to cut a hand off with Obi-Wan's, I would cut my head off with that Inquisitor thing. That thing would
Yeah. I've never gotten the weird thing too of like some of them were full circle and some were half circle, right?
Yeah.
I never understood why. For the guard, I mean.
I would take a Mace Windu because I do like his saber, but I'm getting that handle engraved like his wallet.
Not his wallet. I mean, the Orla, we showed her earlier, the Orla where it's a double white that switches over and she can separate the two. I mean, we haven't really gotten into her sabers. We saw her at the beginning. She's the one that's on the cover of the new High Republic that's coming out. Depending on, I mean, that could be cool. I just think those weird colors are pretty cool. I still think we'd have to go with the Oppressed one or the Darth Maul end scene where he dies. One would be one of those two.
Good one.
I'm waiting for Solo to pull up the rabbit hole because I feel like we just kind of fell down one right now.
Yeah, we should have. We just did fall down the rabbit hole. All right, let's get back onto it.
It was controlled fall.
Speaking of Solowookie, Solowookie and Jedi Johnson, we have their normal segment of the week. It is. Where is it? Do we have the dad joke? I didn't even load anything in. That's how bad I am. All right, here we go. I didn't load in a new one, so we still get the same one. It's the Star Wars dad jokes with Jedi and Wookiee.
Okay, well we got to use it next week because that was such a great joke on that slide.
I'll see if I can throw it in while we're doing it.
I'll get my symbols ready. Hang on. Okay, I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Okay, you going first, Wookiee, or you want me to?
Yeah, you went first last time, right? I'll go first this week. We'll do a little switch off.
Awesome, can't wait.
Where did Luke get his cybernetic hand? At the secondhand store.
Ba-da-dum-bum.
Oh my God. All right. Okay. I don't know if I can beat that one, but in order to beat this, in order to try, you guys get to hear me sing. No. Why couldn't Luke find love?
I don't know. Why couldn't Luke find love?
Because he was looking for love in all the wrong places.
That is a classic.
I was gonna say because they made it Legends and they took it out. Took it out of canon.
You guys could only hear Eddie Murphy when you were singing. I was hearing "Workin' Panub" and I just couldn't get that out of my head.
Okay, go ahead.
What did Han Solo say to the waiter who recommended the haddock? Never sell me the cods.
Oh,
this is not good.
I'm glad we didn't go an Akbar route with that.
I don't know what's wrong with Marco. He's not laughing. All right. So without going into too many details as to into this joke, hey, I asked my wife to dress up as a bounty hunter from Star Wars, and then she's like, "Why would you want me to do that?" And I was like, "Because I have a Boba fetish."
Okay, I am saving the image right now. I will post it up there. Did anybody, chat, please tell me anybody found any of those? There's like one of them. What do you guys think? Go ahead. Was that even worth it, or should we cancel this?
They loved it.
Oh, come on, bring it back.
Yeah, I got round applause.
We just lost 10 viewers. I don't know. I'm putting in the overlay right now. Here we go.
So there it is. Gained 15.
Oh god.
There it is.
I do like that one too, though.
I used to be a limbo. You know, really? Oh.
You got to read it out loud. I don't know if everybody can see it.
Okay, so the joke is, I used to be a limbo. It is my man Harrison Ford as the greatest.
You do Harrison, I'll do Kylo.
Very good. I used to be a limbo champion, you know?
Really? How low could you go?
So low. I'm never doing that again. All right.
Nailed it.
It was so worth it.
Next up, we have the best segment in the show currently going on. It's a trap. This is where we kind of go over, we try to use it as like non-boring history of Star Wars, and also give you a little bit of a feeling of how some of these characters may play in or may not. And then we usually call BS on each other, or we just all agree. So
don't oversell it. It may get boring.
Well, I mean, the point is,
we'll put it this, strap in because it's going to be a long one, but it's going to be a good one.
This one's going to be a long one, but
this is about games, right?
Yes, this is the gaming grade. By the way,
right.
Feel free when we talk about Kyle, the old Kyle Jedi, Jedi Kyle, to just give boo or whatever emoji's a boo emoji, because I said we should cut that and JJ overrid me. So here we go.
I know you guys. I know a lot of people love games. I am not a gamer, so I hope those that do game get a real kick out of this. But to quote C-3PO, if you're not needing me, I'll be shutting down for a while because I know nothing about these games. But hey, enjoy.
I did my best to do a history lesson on all of them a little bit. So, and it's going to be kind of wordy on the slides. So if anybody wants to go back and research the slides on a replay or something, go for it. But
look at Kyle. He even looks like somebody you wouldn't want in a Jedi game. But okay, we will continue. Let's go.
I don't know. If you're a Jedi game in the 80s, he looks like it would fit right in.
Yeah. So I'm going to do it.
Wasn't in the 80s. It was like the 2000s. Bro.
I know, but
it's the 90s. It's the 90s. Games
late 90s.
What year? Stallone, right?
95.
Was it 95? Wow.
95 was the first Dark Forces game.
Oh, yeah. Okay, but they still... Okay, all right. We'll get into it. All right, here we go. First one's up is...
Galen Merrick, a.k.a. Starkiller. So basically what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to give every character kind of a rundown of the games they were in, and then a little bit of history lesson on them, where they fall in the timeline. That way kind of everybody knows, and then we're going to answer our final question of, do we think they can show up at all in the current media of Star Wars? So anyways, first up is Galen Merrick, a.k.a. Starkiller. Galen was in 3 games. So he's in, I'm sorry, 2 games mainly. He's in Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2. Shocking. So, also, let me know if you like the little made-up magic cards there on the slides.
I do.
Those are made up?
Those are made up.
Yeah.
I made those.
Then I love them. I thought those were real.
Yep. So, no, but
next
start.
slide.
Next slide. Yep.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. Yep. So, again, sorry about the wordy slides, but I kind of wanted to give everybody a thing if they were just reading or going back
You
through.
can pause it right here if you want to read it. Go.
Yep. Anyways, so Galen was discovered by Vader when he was hunting another Jedi who was actually his father, Kinto Merrick. So they were both hiding out on Kashyyyk. Vader ended up finding Kinto, killing Kinto in front of Galen, of all things. But Galen actually stole Vader's saber using the Force, and Vader sowed promise in Galen. So he took Galen in as a secret apprentice, and basically the plan was to use Galen, build him up, and then use him to basically both him and Vader will overthrow Palpatine and conquer the Empire.
The only problem was he gave him too many pouches, just like Rob Liefeld art. And then it was
just to throw this out there, Kashyyyk was the wrong place for them to hide out because they did not fit in.
Yeah, not a good place. No, no.
Well, that wasn't the whole story. He was there. They were there to help with the
Wookiee enslavement.
Yeah, enslavement. They were fighting like bosses.
It also kind of made him a bit of a target for the Empire. So yeah. Anyways, so later on too, in Force Unleashed 2.
Yes, Force Unleashed 2.
I want to go without spoiling the games, but in Force Unleashed 2,
yeah, it's only like 20 years old.
Yeah, Galen died. We'll just say Galen dies at the end of Force Unleashed 1. He sacrifices himself for the rebellion after he turns on Vader. So in Force Unleashed 2, he clones Galen. And so there's a Galen clone who basically goes back through and lives Galen's life in Force Unleashed 2. So the key allies to Galen were his faithful droid, Proxy, who was basically a prototype combat droid that Vader actually invented to train Galen. And then Juno Eclipse, who was the pilot.
That always tried to kill him, by the way.
Yep. Yeah, the droid tried to kill him. And the droid would actually take the hologram form of like famous Jedi. So you'd see them fighting like Obi-Wan Kenobi or like it was a little bit odd. But and then Juno Eclipse was the pilot, but also the love interest for Galen. So he ended up falling in love with her. And then Ram Kota was kind of like the Jedi Master that survived Order 66. And he was kind of like became a leader of the rebellion at that time and sort of a Galen's master, I guess we want to call it.
And also looked like he was always sniffing farts.
Yep. And Galen in the game.
He was.
Yeah, he always had a scrunchy face. But Galen in the game did face off against a few famous Jedis. Actually, he kills Shaak Ti, for instance, in a fight. So it's an interesting game.
Yeah,
in the first one, And then, so the main enemies, though, obviously are Vader, Mare's Brood, who is actually Shaak Ti's Padawan in the first game and is hiding out against them, but then turns dark after Galen kills Shaak Ti. And then the Shadow Guard, which were basically introduced in this game as kind of like more deadly versions of the Crimson Guard, I guess, in a way. Yeah, they were force sensitive. I don't know if any Crimson Guard were actually ever force sensitive.
Yeah, they just kind of stood around in their red cloaks.
Anyway, so that's the history lesson on Galen Merrick.
Cursor Jax.
Was he? Was he?
Right. One of the two, I think, was. I can't remember. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
So next slide, if you will.
Oh yeah, that's me. Okay. Tip your waitresses. Make sure you go down there, give a like, give a thumbs up or whatever.
Okay.
Is that the same thing?
Yeah. So Galen's appearances, basically his first appearance, comic appearance, if you want to call it that, is actually a trade paperback that Dark Horse did of Force Unleashed, which basically just recaps the game in comic form.
And I think that's tough to find too.
It is a little, especially in good condition. It's a little tough to find. It was mainly like a bookstore thing. I don't know that it was ever big in comic shops, so a lot of them sat on like Barnes and Noble shelves forever.
And
he
like
did make
price books and stuff.
Yeah,
you get them all.
That was pretty much it for comic appearances. There was a Force Unleashed 2 trade, also, but there were no individual floppy comics. But he did make a lot of appearances in Star Wars Insider, starting with I think 98, which is the bottom left one there, and then made the covers of several subscriber exclusives and PX exclusives. I think he got 108. I think it's 118, 132.
Which is badass.
Yeah. So
weren't there for whatever reason I remember, aren't there mini comics or something in like special editions like at Walmart or one of the stores? Like it was like
actually I don't know if we're doing pickups today or not, so I'll show it off.
Oh boy.
You can do pickups at the end. There you go. Mini comic. You can show it off at the end.
To show you how small it is. Well, I'll show you how small it is at the end. We'll do that at the end. All right. So anyways, this is the important part. In the timeline of what we currently know, I know it's hard to see because I used the gold High Republic timeline thing there for this. But so basically, the game takes place over the course of Galen's life, and it would fall between 18 BBY and 1 BBY, which means it's basically smack dab the middle between Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and A New Hope. So
there's some very interesting stuff with this because everybody's always like they're going to bring him back, but if you guys have been following the comics and you've been following a couple of the other things, do remember at one point, what was it? Who was the Jedi Master that left and they used the baby? And he used the baby and said, I'm going to either the Night Sister said I was going to use the baby. And then they went back and that's what he turned into a priest. And then they were going to kill him. We just covered it like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, we did just talk about this not that long ago.
Anyways, that baby Darth Vader took in a similar type scenario to this, where they used it to kill the dad, which
there was a Project Harvester too was similar.
There was also Project Harvester, and that's what we brought this up and said we'll cover this in a couple of weeks, and we did. What is his name? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I hated him. He was on the council too. Somebody help us out there, JJ. This is usually
the chat.
JJ helps out.
Not ringing a bell for me, but sorry.
Okay, I'll remember in a second. Either way, so like there is a possibility that we will see a form of this. Probably not the clone form that's trying to get murdered by a murder robot, but that doesn't mean that it's absolutely obsolete that we won't see this. Anyways,
and the story in this one's really good. As far as to review the game real quick, gameplay was good, but a little bit rough in the fact that it made it too easy to use your force powers. Like literally by the end of the game, you're so powerful, you're like flicking stormtroopers off the bridge as you go by. So.
Yes.
So important part though, timeline, remember where it falls, and then we'll go on to Cal Kestis and kind of see where that aligns up. So next, please.
Okay, there you go. Oh, Cal Kestis.
No, here we go.
Cal Kestis. So Cal Kestis, only in one game so far. This is Jedi Fallen Order. There will be a second one here. Yep, there is a second one already in development right now. So there will be at least two. There's just not right now. So Cal is a little bit unusual in that he has psychometry, which psychometry, if anybody knows Quinlan Voss, also use that Jedi power, which is basically the ability to touch things and then see the memories and all that involved in the other people that held that object dear.
Was also
like Cindy Lauper and Vibes.
And what's the guy who was friends with Dooku, who he used his name on the planet of the clone planet? Remember who's supposed to be in charge of doing the clone?
Is it? I want to say Sifo Dyas.
Sifo Dyas had the same power too. Yep.
So it's kind of a unique Jedi power.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was Jeff Goldblum. It wasn't Cindy Lauper. It was Jeff Goldblum's character.
For Sifo Dyas? Wait, what?
No,
it was a long night last night.
Come on. I remember the movie now. He grabbed his girlfriend's underwear and said, "Hey, somebody else held these." Anyway, let's not get off the point. Go.
I would watch a movie with Jeff Goldblum as Sifo Dyas. Anyways, okay. So basically, that's Cal's kind of claim to fame. He does also use a very unique lightsaber, like we talked a bit about earlier. He originally uses his master's lightsaber, but then that breaks and he ends up building one that actually will separate into two parts or come back into one long one-handed saber. So, all right. So on to the next slide for Cal.
Next slide again.
Next slide. So Cal's story is basically one you kind of might sound familiar. So basically, he's a survivor of Order 66. The clones went after him. His master, who was, I believe, I don't know if I said, a Jedi Topple, I believe, if I remember right. But anyways, so he basically saved him and protected him during Order 66. Cal got away. He kept Topple's lightsaber, and then so basically he goes into hiding, similar to another Kanan story that you may know. So he goes into hiding and doesn't let anybody know that he's a Jedi, and actually suppresses his force powers. And basically one day he's tracked down, although they don't know that it's him, but they end up figuring out that there's somebody there with powers by the Inquisitors. So the second sister in particular, and I think the fifth brother, fifth sister. I always want to call it brother.
Fifth sister, yeah.
Yeah, are the ones that track him down. And he's actually stayed by Sierra Junda, who is a former Jedi knight, not master, but knight. And so basically throughout then, the story goes that Indo Cordova, who was another Jedi master, left BD-1, who ends up finding Cal, being the droid, with a Jedi holocron information of all the Force-sensitive children. Again, kind of a similar story. You might have heard it before.
Yeah, right.
But basically,
in that last slide, the bottom left picture, he sure looks a lot like Broom Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna do Broom Boy.
Oh boy,
that's what we're doing.
Broom Boy theories.
Just saying.
But anyways,
Yeah,
throughout Cal's journey to restore the Jedi Order, or not, I won't ruin the game for anybody, but because it's like the most current one. But if they do play it, they'll see the decision at the end. But Sierra Junda is the Jedi Knight I mentioned, so she's bottom left there. Marin, who is a Night Sister survivor of the massacre, is she is the love interest of Cal in a way. If Jin was here, she would be talking
Jen
all about
loves that story. She loves the love story. That she wants to come back because she just is in love with the love story.
I'll be happy to cover all this again or let Jen cover it. But there's the faithful droid BD-1, who again holds the information to the future of the Jedi Order. And then there's Grizz, who runs the ship. He's basically like kind of the pilot mechanic of the ship they get on, which is the Stinger Mantis is the name of that ship. Mantis. Yep. So you got two main, well, you got more than that. Obviously Vader and all those people, but he doesn't really come into the end. But you got two main enemies, which is Malicos, who was a fallen Jedi who ended up hiding out on Dathomir with the Night Sisters and basically pulling, in a way, a Darth Maul and taking over Dathomir, or at least kind of a segment of Dathomir, as almost like a cult type thing. It's kind of a weird story to explain. And then you got Trilla, who was actually the Padawan of Sierra Junda at the time. Or I think she was her Padawan. Yeah. So Trilla, and then through a series of events, again, I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but she becomes the second sister Inquisitor. So next slide for me. All right. So again, appearances. Everybody thinks there's a Cal. Well, not everybody, but there are a segment of people who think there is a Cal Kestis comic appearance. Let me be very clear. There are no Cal Kestis comic appearances that we know of. The Jedi Yoda one-shot, that is not Cal. It is a Cal, but it is not Cal Kestis. So I just want to be clear. I know some people may hate me for that or whatever, but
it's a galaxy far, far away, and it's a galaxy. There could be more than one person with the same first name.
Yeah. And he also dies in that comic. So it's pretty hard for it to be Cal Kestis when he dies in the middle of the Clone Wars. So just saying, not Cal. As far as the timeline goes, you'll notice it looks familiar. It's pretty much, although it takes place only over the course of a year or so in the game, like 14 BBY, it's pretty much smack dab where Starkiller's story happens. Starkiller's Legends. The important thing to remember about Cal in this discussion is that Fallen Order is the only canon game we'll discuss in this whole thing. Everything else has been moved to Legends and shuffled off by Disney. So sorry that somebody hates me for that.
Anyways, he's joking. Right?
I know, but so it is the only canon game that we're talking about right now. So keep that in mind when we get to the end. Next up.
Okay, go ahead.
Marco's favorite character, Kyle Katarn. I'm going to talk up Kyle Katarn like nobody's business because this was my childhood.
Luke was Marco's favorite character.
Yeah, I think Luke. Yeah, I think Marco hates Kyle Katarn more than any other.
I just hate that it's everything. Oh, go ahead.
All right, I'll continue. But anyways, this was my childhood. Okay, I grew up in '90s Star Wars games, so Dark Forces was the first one to come out in the '90s, and it actually did really revolutionize Star Wars games. And Kyle Katarn is actually in the most out of anyone on this list, as far as a Legends character or canon character, the stars in the most Star Wars games out of anyone. So keep that in mind. He also rose through the ranks over his entire life, basically, as a Jedi. And he was the only, at the time, this was always, I thought when I was a kid, at least, the coolest thing ever, but he was the only self-taught Jedi. He basically was a Force-sensitive person his whole life, and
can I just Real quickly, I gotta stop something real quickly. People are asking about the mini comic versus the trade paperback as far as that Unleashed thing. The trade paperback came out in August, and the mini comic came out in September with the game.
That mini that I showed is also from Force Unleashed too. There is a mini comic.
There's a mini in the first one. I know there's just a bunch of people asking in there. So like he is right. In comic form, the trade paperback did come out first by a month. The announcement was in Informer in 2000, a year ahead. They announced that the mini was going to come out in the game. So I think that's where people get confused because it's actually the month after, because the game didn't get released till the month after the TPB came out.
It's a tricky thing with release dates of games and stuff. Who knows who printed one first? They may have printed the mini.
Yeah, they could probably print it. Who they could print it at the same time? Who knows? Like
but the game did come out after the trade.
After the trade, I think that's what they were asking. Is that VK and Net Prime? Is that what you guys are asking? I think they are. Sorry. Get back to Kyle and how he looks like
awesome he is.
He's wearing khakis. And he took off his tie.
Kyle,
whatever.
Kyle favored two things. He started off basically his life as an Imperial soldier, and then became a mercenary. Then got hooked up with the rebels, and that's when he basically taught himself to be a Jedi Knight, more or less. But he actually rose all the way to the rank of Battle Master, which is the most combat capable Jedi usually that actually teaches Jedi how to combat and sabers and everything, although he did use a saber and a pistol, so he used two things. But all right, on to the next slide. And he's in 5 games, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned. So he's in Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. This is confusing, I know. Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight the Academy, which is actually the 4th game, and then he showed up for a little bit in Lethal Alliance.
It's not confusing.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 2, there's like multiple versions of that game too. So I mean, it happens. We get it.
Yeah. So a little wordy here, but basically Kyle Katarn is unique. Like I said, he's the only self-taught Jedi, and he's the only one that I'm going to cover in this where basically his entire adult life is covered with no breaks or anything like that. You know, he didn't go into hiding like Cal does or anything like that. So, and he was basically known more again for his combat prowess as a Jedi than anything else.
And the deep V.
Yes,
he likes showing off the stern
deep
bush.
V and khakis. He loves the deep V and the khakis and
right.
guns.
Yep. But yeah, so basically, his most famous feat as a Jedi was basically defeating, I can't remember how many Jedi, 7 or something, Dark Jedi in a row in the trial during the Valley of the Jedi. And he was in 9 Legends novels, I think. So basically, he's been in a ton of media. Like I said, when I was a kid in the 90s and the early 2000s, that was the thing, was like Kyle Katarn was the man for Jedi. Like he even beat Luke Skywalker once in a fight. And so I always thought that was awesome. Not true? He didn't beat Luke Skywalker?
It's not canon. Not true.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Didn't happen.
Excuse. All right. Anyways, next slide for me.
You know it's bad if he's pulling for Luke Skywalker over Kyle. That's some deep hatred.
He hates Kyle Katarn. I don't know.
I didn't think I'd ever hear that.
I would love to have seen the argument in Marco's head just now. Like, should I say it? What? No, what? Should I let it go?
A couple things too. He's saying self-trade. If you really take it, I mean, like Luke did kind of have help, but like also too, you have a blaster the whole time. What do you need a blaster for? He didn't need it.
Hey, you know who else had a blaster and a lightsaber? Quinlan Voss.
Yeah, but Quinlan Voss.
Ezra.
Ezra. Yeah.
No, Ezra's was the combo thing, and the reason why Quinlan Voss is a different story. But go ahead.
All right. Onward with Kyle Katarn here. So basically, allies in the game. Now, I want to point this out. Jan Ors, who is a smuggler and gets connected.
And also looks like everybody. Yeah, go ahead.
I think everybody can see where that character design from the 90s kind of influenced maybe another character that we all know now. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Doesn't look similar at all, does it? No. Luke Skywalker obviously was an ally, as he was the creator of the new Jedi Order that Kyle was in. Mara Jade, again, Luke's wife at the time, so that's kind of obvious. And then Jaden Core was his apprentice, who actually you do play as Jaden Core in the 4th game, Jedi Academy. And then
let's just go over real quickly. So they had the high school principal as the Darth that he goes against. I mean, that's just...
Well, keep in mind the videos are from like 1997, so they look.
That looks like Michael Ironside. Stop talking about.
It does. It looks like Starship Troopers. clip or something when you watch it. Anyway, Darth Jarrett, who was the mortal enemy of Kyle Katarn and responsible for the death of his parents, so Katarn hunted him quite a while there. And then he's faced off against a lot of different Dark Jedi. As I said, he defeated 7 of them in a row. The most famous one is Saris, who shockingly looks like a dark version of Mara Jade. And then there's now the first guy, and where these come from, everybody will recognize it from the Mandalorian, but Dark Troopers actually came from the Dark Forces game. Kyle Katarn was the first guy to fight and defeat Dark Troopers. And then, of course, there's several other Dark Jedi that he faces off against throughout the course of the games. So.
Mara Jade ripoff and the principal from your high school. Great stuff. And then Dark Troopers, though. That's cool.
Yeah, Dark Troopers are cool.
Yeah.
Right. Next slide for me.
Technically, he also, his deadly enemy was Luke Skywalker, also, I might add.
Yeah. At first. All right. So appearances. He has but one comic appearance. It is his first appearance. He does show up for a significant amount, so you would say it's a full. He shows up in Star Wars Tales 21. So he does look like Red from that same stuff. But there's an art cover and a photo cover. The photo cover also has a newsstand version, just so everybody knows. Now, again, the important part, or remember for our discussion down the road, is timeline. Basically, Legends had the new Jedi Order. I don't know who all is familiar with that, but it's the Jedi Order that Luke builds after the events of the first, I shouldn't say first 3 episodes, but after the Return of the Jedi. So basically, Kyle's story actually starts earlier. It would actually be before A New Hope is when his story starts, because he actually, interestingly enough, Dark Forces, the very first mission in the game, is you stealing Death Star plans as a mercenary. So Rogue One in that universe didn't happen apparently, but or at least they didn't succeed. But so, anyways, primary accomplishments of him happen after Return of the Jedi, but before Empire. So they fall kind of somewhere in there. Or, I'm sorry, I should say after A New Hope, but before Empire. And then it goes on throughout the entire Jedi Order. So. All right, moving right along. The big guy that everybody knows, but might not know. I don't know, because his story actually goes on for quite a bit, and people don't know about it. But so he was in Revan, and I'm not going to call him Darth Revan yet, because he actually becomes a Jedi again. Spoiler. But Darth Revan was in Knights of the Old Republic. He's Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords, although he's not the main character in that. We'll get more of that later. And he's also in the Old Republic. So basically, the Old Republic is an MMORPG. For those unfamiliar with it, it's basically an RPG that will go on forever. Although he is in that storyline. So he is, I labeled him on the magic card, the Grey Jedi, because that's kind of what he was known as before he went to fight in the Mandalorian Wars, but he's incredibly powerful. Some will tell you he's the most powerful Jedi. Debatable maybe, but basically he defied the Council to go fight in the wars, came back a Sith Lord. If you take me to the next slide, we'll go a little more into that. But
he's a pretty cool action figure, I'll tell you that much.
Yep. So Revan's story is probably the most legendary. Everybody knows Revan. Everybody loves Revan. He was actually the Padawan to Jedi Master Kriya, who was a very old Jedi, I think human, but think Yoda age. Basically, he's immensely capable, even as a Padawan. He was considered to be, they actually had a name for him. I don't remember the name. It's something like the Promised Knight or something like that, as being basically the most capable Padawan of them all. And so in the first game, Revan defies the Council because the Mandalorians are basically killing the outer rim of the Republic at that time. He wants to go fight the Mandalorians. Council doesn't want to do it. They want to stay neutral. So Revan actually takes the fight to the Mandalorians. He actually defeats Mandalore the Ultimate, I believe it was. I was getting mixed up with Indomitable, but I think it was Ultimate that he defeats in battle Ultimate to end the war. And actually, if you go ahead and take me to the next slide.
It's the Mask of Indomitable, isn't it?
Yes, Indomitable.
It's the Mask of Indomitable, but Ultimate is who he's
Ultimate picks up the mantle and goes.
So Revan basically disappears after he goes to fight the Mandalorians. He comes back as Darth Revan, who everybody knows him more as Darth Revan than anything else. He comes back. He then takes the war to the Jedi, and all the Jedi are like, "What the hell?" Bastila Shan is on the strike team. They capture Revan. They basically wipe Revan's mind and return him. And that's the Knights of the Old Republic first game, is basically you are playing Revan to discover your identity. At the same time, you're fighting Malak, not realizing that Malak, by the way, was the guy who shot you into space and allowed the Jedi to capture you in the first place because he betrayed you. But anyways, going on to the second game is actually the star of the second game is actually Mitra Shurik. So Mitra Shurik is called the Exile Jedi, and she goes looking for, you're fine. She goes looking for Revan in the second game and pretty much ends up getting involved in that story. I won't go into that, but there's a Darth Nihilus and the Council, and Mitra Shurik basically kills all of them. But by the end of that game, you had the story where Revan also had a novel.
Well, after that. 3, right? You're talking about the Triumphant, right? The Sith Triumphant.
Yeah, so Triumphant, yes.
Yeah, where it was
Nihilus. Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't include them as the enemies because they weren't really Revan's enemies. They were
they weren't. They were just yep.
So
Scion.
Anyways,
Scion Nihil. Yeah,
Scion. Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm. So going forward with that, you had more or less the Old Republic. After that, there was a book in between that actually explained a lot. The book was simply called Revan. It was written by, I think, Drew Caption. I don't know if I ever say his name right, but Drew Caption, who also wrote the second game and the third game's kind of story. But he becomes yeah, I know it's long. Anyways, to cap it off,
there will be a test.
Yes, there is a test at the end. So to cap it off, Revan, after having his mind wiped, during that novel, he goes on a mission with Candace Ordo and basically recovers his memory when he finds his old mask. I'm sorry, when he finds Mandalore, the Ultimate's mask for Candace Ordo, so Ordo will take the Mandalorian mantle. Go ahead.
Indomitable.
It's Indomitable?
Yeah.
Indomitable. Sorry. Indomitable. And then basically at the end of that novel, he ends up finding out the threat that wiped his mind all along and actually made him fight the Jedi was the Sith Lord Viete. I don't know if I say his name.
Yeah.
He basically was seeking out immortality, and to do that, he needed somebody to go.
That's the red guy in the middle here with the little. He actually has Sith blood in him.
Tenebrae is his Sith name.
That's why he's red, because he has Sith blood in him.
Yeah, he's part of the original Sith species, isn't he?
Yep. He's the actual Sith. So you want to know what actual Sith look like? That's what they look like.
There's a book called Planet of Sith too that deals with this. But go ahead.
Yeah. So in Old Republic, basically, you come to find out that Revan has actually been in prison for like 200 years by Tenebrae. And basically, Revan allowed himself to be captured, even though his assault on Tenebrae failed. So he allows himself to be captured and is kind of manipulating Tenebrae behind the scenes to ensure that he doesn't go full on into his war. And basically, throughout the game, Revan's ancestor, Shatil Shan, is the one who
football practice,
who basically becomes the savior of the Jedi at the end of Old Republic, more or less. Although the game's still going on.
Her granddaughter's the one that's the Old Republic.
Book. I think it's great granddaughter. Actually,
great granddaughter. Yeah. So this couple things that are really cool. First off, Kylo Nord looks like a lot of the generic characters that they had in Final Fantasy number 5. The bottom characters at the bottom are kind of some of the best. Like Sean's situation where she's kind of like a relationship with Revan, but also is like this big key to the whole realm is really cool. When speaking of blasters, Karth, he has got double blasters. That's pretty cool. Ordon is actually a Mandalorian mercenary, like a Mandalorian bounty hunter type. I mean, like they call him a mercenary because there's not really Mandalorians anymore. And then the assassin droid HK-47. I know people are excited, kind of like people get on the Revan hype, like, oh, Revan's so great. Like he is, don't get me wrong, but this cast of characters underneath is probably some of the best cast of characters that they have, in my opinion. The Exile Jedi was like what the Exile Jedi was. I mean, you needed it as like
a lot of people were a bit miffed, if you will, because they actually, in that novel I was talking about, they actually kill her pretty, I guess, mercilessly, just for no reason at all, more or less. She didn't really have to die, but she does, kind of just to be like, I guess she got refrigerated girled, if you know what that was.
Yeah.
More or less. But
yeah, people weren't happy about that. But also, too, it was Malak who tortured Shauna too, right?
Yes. Yep. And then
I know people are talking now about the new, like Shauna's great granddaughter, but like, and they're linking it to Revan, but like that's so far, like that's
yeah. Well, if you go to the next slide,
I hope we get into it because I think people are getting really confused about. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So actual comic appearances for Revan. I don't want to get too far into the weeds as far as what is there is not a comic appearance, but definite cameo in Star Wars Tales #3. You see him in a vision along with Malik and actually Bastila.
23.
So you see all three of them. Yeah, 23. Yeah, did I say 20? Anyway, I said 3. 23. My bad. So Knights of the Old Republic 0 has a tiny cameo flip book. It's a flip book. I mean, that has a tiny cameo.
Yeah,
and it's
maybe shadows.
Yeah,
the writer said that's it. He said that's him. So
people don't care what writers say.
I'm just saying.
And then 9 is what's considered, at least by the market, to be the first full. Although you only ever see him in the cloak with everything on, and you do see him speak and everything. He's never named. You don't know who he is. You're not really supposed to know who he is at that point. And then he actually, his origin story, his name, his mask, everything he's known for comes out in 42. So in my heart, 42 is the real one to have. I'll let the market choose whatever else they want.
They're all good books.
I'll sell 9. I'll keep 42.
Yeah. 42 is a good book. But it's really good. So basically to the timeline part that Marco was talking about, it's very important to remember that the Old Republic takes place thousands, and I mean thousands as in like 3,000 or more years before anything else that we see in Star Wars, even the High Republic. Like it's way before that. I think it's actually stretches from, I looked it up real quick and I'm not real sure, but 5,000 to 500, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, because a lot of times when they talk out most of the storyline from the basis of it, it is in like the 4,200 to like the 3,000-ish range in a lot of the storyline there. So.
But like Exar Kun and those guys are before Revan. So if you hear the name Exar Kun, he's like in 4,000 something BBY.
4,600, some shit like that.
Something like that. And then so Revan's basically takes place over the course of almost 300 years, kind of right in the middle of the Old Republic. But again, it's really hard to place it on like a Star Wars timeline because it's gonna be way off to the left before anything else. So keep that in mind. All right, so on to our last thing here. The ultimate question.
Everybody got all that?
Yeah. After that super long class,
we have to go through each character.
No. The test question at the end of the show is: do we see any of these characters, given their timeline and who they are, and how much the fans like some of them, and how much the fans don't like some of them? Do we see any of them in any of the canon or film shows that have been announced or might be coming out? And if you choose never tell me the odds, you do have to pick a character or at least one of them. And if you say it's a trap, we'll probably never see any of them, at least not anytime soon. And that's the choice.
All right, let's go back to the characters. We're only doing the main ones. We're not doing the sub characters too, right?
No, only main ones. I don't care. You can do whoever you want, but we're just the main ones. Just those guys.
There's one that we'll see. I think.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead, go first. Yeah, so, since you taught the class, go ahead.
Yep, I go with that.
I think you're right. I think this is the one.
Yep,
go ahead.
That's my pick too. Cal Kestis. Why? He's already canon. You know, he's there. They have the game's 2 years old. They have the actors in place already that played them. They are real life actors. They're not computer graphics. They're actors that they wrote over computer graphics on for both him and all the cast. So to me, it's the most obvious pick. Revan is too far off. I know he's a fan favorite. Everybody loves him. Thousands of years apart from everything else, unless they do an Old Republic show out of the blue. I don't think it's ever happening. Kyle Katarn, I love him to death, but his story is basically everybody else's story. So no, they basically have actually picked apart parts of Kyle Katarn's story to use in things that are now canon. Starkiller, again, love him to death, but his story is more or less, in a way, going to right overlap a character like Cal. So I don't think they do both those at the same time. So he's out. So just Cal, in my opinion.
Good opinion. Do you guys want me to just murder people on this or no?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, thank God that Kyle will never make a reappearance because nobody likes that character besides JJ, so he's gone. Starkiller might be reimagined as a different type of character, but we're not going to get Starkiller. They already pretty much said that. As far as Revan goes, they might do it in a flashback. Do remember that there is that cutout scene where he was supposed to be a Darkside Force ghost in the temple.
Yeah.
I could see something like that, but if we're talking about like premiere, like more than a flash in the pan, like gonna hit a couple episodes, you have to have it as Cal. Like Cal, you could surround it for. I think you're 100% right. I know there's a lot of people screaming for the timeline, but I think that is their biggest problem. The biggest problem is you would have to try to explain stuff to people. Like the games are complicated. Like the Old Republic has nothing to do with Revan at all. And people hear Old Republic, they're like, yeah, the game that Revan's in. It's like, no, that's the game the twins are like, no, that's not. I mean, that's not just a casual Star Wars fan. It's so hard to explain all that. So I think it'd be tough. Not to mention too, I think if you're going to do a dark side character or somebody who has that type of thing, the original Revan, I don't think gets enough play. So you'd have to do the combination of the two. The story is very colluded anyways, when you get into the whole thing. I think you'd have to see Plagueis. Like there's so many characters that they are just on the prefaces of like hitting on, like the Plagueises of the world, like the Banes of the world that would have to come first. And then you could play back into Revan. You could do Revan in, like I said, a ghost thing like they were going to do. But yeah, I think Cal Kestis is the one if you're going to see any. But I think it's all a trap. I don't think we're going to see any of them.
I disagree.
Yeah. Not in the next 5 years. We're not. I mean, 10 years down the line, maybe but not in 5 years. We're not going to see any of them.
Well, we didn't put a time frame on when we're seeing this stuff. I mean,
I think that's kind of what he was referencing.
Yeah, and like as far as like what they've announced for the immediate future that we know of,
like the next 5 years, this phase, the 5 to 7 year phase.
But also keep in mind, I didn't necessarily say how much you'd see of them. So will you see, like Marco said, they had that planned kind of appearance for Revan that never happened. It could be something like that.
Yeah, if that's it, then I'll say yeah, maybe 2. But if not, then 0.
The Force Ghost of Kyle Katarn will come back to haunt you. Is that what you're saying?
It will not come back. Okay, who else has got opinion on this? Pete, what do you got?
What I got is, I agree. I think Starkiller would be a little bit difficult to fit in with everything else they already have in place. And I also, as 80s cool as Kyle Katarn might look and feel, like I don't think he's going to be there. They could tie in Cal Kestis so they can, tie in some of their video game stuff and have a nice little appearance, something they could do. But I still feel we can also see Revan. I know you guys don't think it's going to happen, but I still feel like once we get not the Boba Fett Mandalorian, but the next episode of Mandalorian, where we got Bo-Katan, and maybe she starts talking about the history of Mandalore. Maybe we get flashbacks to the Indomitable. Maybe we see the Ultimate. I think that's a good way to lead in, introduce people to another era that they could build more content and shows and movies from. And
so
then
10 years down the line,
lead into Knights of the Old Republic, and we get Revan. Like I could see that happening.
Yeah,
because they're going to have to move away from this Skywalker saga eventually. I know they know that. They're going to do it eventually. And the best way to do it is to go so far away that it's completely distant.
And I could see something like in the Acolyte where they're exploring kind of the High Republic-ish area of that show. Yeah. Like, they find some, well, we'll put it this way.
This is a weird one. We gotta tailor this down a little bit because it's 2 parts. I agree 100% with Pete said. But as I'm seeing it placed out, he's talking about a show after a show after a show. That's after phase 1.
It could be teased. Like that kind of stuff could be teased in things we are going to get. Though.
So I think let's readjust this. Let's readjust this. Are we going to see what can we see in phase 1, which would be the next 5 to 7 years, and would be a main character? Is that what we're saying? A main part of the storyline? JJ, correct?
Yeah, that's fine. A star of the show or co-star or something like maybe like a Carl Weathers type or something. I don't know. He's not there every episode, but he's there.
But I agree with
you
Pete.
Got yourself a stew.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we're not talking Happy Gilmore.
No. I agree with Pete too on that. I mean, I that's exactly how I see Revan coming in. I see a Revan coming in as like maybe a little prelude to him, and then all of a sudden we get like phase 2. If they don't give us a form of Revan or a form of the Old Republic in phase 2, I'm pissed. Like I'm okay with phase 1 going the way it's going, right? Like no problem. But phase 2, if we don't get Revan.
Yeah, I gotta highlight something real quick because Sticks Boy is reading my mind. That's what I thought when I was writing all this. If they fit him in, they could do it. No, I'm sorry, the lower one where he talks about Mandalore history.
This one right here.
Yep, that's how they could fit him in. It depends on how they explore the Mandalorian going forward.
Yeah,
if they go that deep into Mandalorian history, where like at some point Mando looks for Mandalore the Indomitable's helmet or something,
yeah,
you might see something like that. I don't know.
I just see them talking about it, and
Yeah,
like
who's
while
gonna
she's
talk
talking,
about it,
they
though?
give like one of those weird
But
little
it's so far in the past.
animated kind of things, like, "Hey, this is the history." Like just kind of illustrate the history, like in Hellboy 2 when they're talking about the Golden Army, or in Harry Potter when they're talking about the Deathly Hallows. Like this weird animated, like throwback, makeshift, like.
Yeah. And like I said,
Mandalore.
it's the comic thing where we talked about earlier, where like you might see a statue of Revan, and it's like a nod to the fans that hey, Revan exists.
Yeah, I definitely think they should give us. I mean, I want a nod for sure. But what I'm saying is, like, I hear what you're saying, but I think we still need to focus on like we have to do like Mandalore being, and you could probably do it because you could reference like the Purge of Mandalore, right? They haven't given us the Purge of Mandalore yet, but if you're in the Purge of Mandalore and you could say like this kind of happened before in the Revan time period, you could do that. But you know, I want like clear the Purge in 7 years. Give us Revan. Give it to us. I can wait a little bit. I mean, I ain't going nowhere. Yeah. Anyways, go. All right, good stuff, Pete. Like it. So he's this is still not a trap for. Okay, Solo, what do you got?
Still never tell me the odds.
Yeah, never tell me the odds. Go.
Yeah, I'm gonna never tell me the odds, and I think we're definitely gonna get Raven. I don't think it's gonna be in the next 5 years. I'm sorry, Revan, and it's coming, but it's down the road. I don't think we're gonna see Kyle, but if and when we do. I'm going to chop up a bunch of fresh onions and hold them under just out of the camera and film it. And then I'm going to send it to Marco. And then
5 videos.
Cal, I think we could see Cal. And I know that he's already cast. He's already there. I'm not feeling the Cal.
He's the Joker.
Not yet. Not yet. I think he's going to come, but not yet. However, I do think that enough people have talked about Starkiller, and we keep circling the drain of the Wookiee enslavement on Kashyyyk. We've got Gideon out there, and he's already doing it off of Mando. We're bringing in, the other admirals. The storyline keeps coming up, and Bad Batch is that timeline. We're right in there. Rex and those guys are out there. It is really, really easy right now to throw in Starkiller, even though he's not. You don't make him giant. You don't make him huge. It would be so easy to write him in right now in just a couple little things. Honestly, I think if we see anybody, in my opinion, Starkiller.
As Starkiller from the TV show?
What TV show?
I mean, as from the video game, you're saying like that Starkiller, like the whole same storyline?
I think they'll alter it. I think they're going to tweak it, and they could, because it's that same. We're in that timeline a lot right now.
Yeah,
and
it
keeps the storyline.
The Purge, he's around during the Purge.
It keeps repeating about the Kashyyyk and the Wookiees and them being hunted and everything, and I think it keeps coming up. I've seen it come up too much in the last 6 months to not believe they're not going to touch on that a little bit.
All right.
We'll make one point that I agree with Wookie on too, is that both Starkiller and Cal timeline is right now where Bad Batch is.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
that's the one thing that's going on. And actually, a lot of those are based. That's why I'm like, when it comes down to it, those two timelines, the Starkiller and the Cal, run the whole phase 1. Like it's not just
one thing that I think would be cool is if they had, and it won't happen, but it would be awesome if they had the person that goes looking for Kenobi in the series to be Starkiller. That'd be fun. I'd love it. Cool. It won't happen, but I'd love it.
No, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. All right, Jedi, could you save us from being a bunch of fanboys and like set us straight with your wisdom?
You gotta power back up.
Yeah, for anyone that thinks I wasn't paying attention, just listen to this answer and you're going to realize you're right for the most part. No, I'm going to go, I don't know, man. You guys sold me on every one of your explanations and reasons. I was like, oh, wait a minute, yeah. I'm going to go with Starkiller because we did put those limitations on as far as the timeline, and he's right for the timeline. I would love to see Revan. I also think Star Wars fans are always hungry for a villain. I think he would sell toys, etc. As JJ went through this, though, and Starkiller is going to be my answer, but let me say, as JJ went through this, I couldn't help but notice a lot of the influences that a lot of these characters that he talked about have already had on new characters that we're seeing, whether it's the droid, the combat droid. I was thinking of 000 the whole time you guys you were talking about him. And, I saw in chat, a lot of people were making Indiana Jones references, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, we have Afra. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. Thanks, JJ. I did not sleep much, but I'm going to say Starkiller.
That's a good one.
Final answer.
Astro Wizard has a good question, and the answer is no. They just released a new Cal Kestis fig from the Fallen Order. Is this a coincidence? No, this was actually already a pre-planned thing. It was kind of like the Cad Bane where they released it. They did those special Ultimate Packs, and because of how the production levels were, they re-released the exclusives because they didn't release enough of them.
Did he get a Gaming Great sticker on his on that one too?
Mm-hmm. Next time they vote for an action figure, I'm gonna rig it so Kyle Katarn wins and Marco.
And then I will cry.
Thank you for all your work on this, JJ. That was I've only played a few of those games, and you really described it and gave a lot of the detail that I needed to help kind of put the missing holes together. That was excellent, dude. You really knocked this one out of the park. That was top notch to you, buddy. 3 kids ran across my yard. I didn't even yell at them. I barely even knew they were there. Let
me echo what
really
Wookie was saying. I echo what Wookie's saying. Great job, JJ. I've never played a single one of these games, but I feel confident now. I know which character I want to be, and I think I could just run the board and win this game in couple hours.
They did those. We're still getting questions on those Black Series figures. They were done as premium. So CADS was I can't remember. It was an open thing, and it came with what's his name, the little robot thing, and then even Cal had a premium. That was a real short run. It was the worst time, but they had to release it because it was around the game time. So it was really a short run. So they redid it with a couple of those. They also did it with some of the other gaming greats. It wasn't just those two. Actually, there's a sneaky Revan that came through, and
which one? I got both Revans behind me.
They re-released
the White
Revan.
The White Revan was a GameStop exclusive.
Yeah, this is GameStop.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, this guy. This White Revan.
Which was Cal too, wasn't he? When Cal first came out, it was Gaming Great.
I think
there's another one too that's out now.
Yeah, they released the second one. Yeah, that's what we're saying. Mm-hmm. That was because of the.
Don't sleep on Nihilus. We didn't talk about Nihilus, but.
Yep.
We did. When we were talking about the tryout.
Yeah, we mentioned him briefly.
Yeah, briefly. Nihilus is great. All right, so those are it. And what I don't know if anybody's smarter from this because I think then we just said everybody could show up and could show up. I think we've fanboyed it again.
No,
VK wants to know if there's
Kyle.
Yeah,
we also know Kyle. So Kyle will be showing up. That is the final answer. And then JJ
wants to know if there's a Kyle figure, though.
We're gonna show it.
I don't think there is.
Actually, they need to hurry up.
There is a Kyle figure from back in the day.
There's a Kyle figure. Yeah, and a small one, right? Yeah, they had the small.
Yeah. 3.75. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going to do Kyle, they got to hurry up because Sylvester Stallone is not getting any younger.
But he looks the same.
You could use also, who when I see him, he reminds me of the guy that played what was that? The Into the Darkness, the guy that had the chainsaw as the hand.
Bruce Campbell?
Bruce Campbell. Yeah, you could have Bruce Campbell play him.
You could de-age him like they did Hamill for Mandalorian.
We're not gonna do that.
You could, but
why? You could, but why?
Yeah. All right. We still have more to go. Okay.
Yep. We didn't get the Bad Batch yet.
I went long. I apologize.
No, that was good. It was good stuff. I'm just trying to figure out how I can get this off the screen. All right, thank you, Pete. Or maybe I did that myself.
You did that. I didn't.
All right, Bad Batch it is. Here we go. Bad Batch real quickly. This is actually a really good episode. I don't know what you guys thought about it. We'll just talk over it real quickly. I thought they did a great job. They do this thing where they're trying to explain the planets. They end up going to who's got the planet for this? This is where those blue people live, isn't it?
Planto.
Planto is right. Yes, thank you very much. They went to
no,
Planto.
it's like an anagram of Florida. Because I watched something and somebody pointed it out. It's like I write her. I don't know. If you mix up the letters, it's
yeah, right here. It's these characters. Remember her? She was there and she had the guy and they ended up shooting him and everything like that. They actually are cheering for the Empire to come in. Do you remember they were hugely against the Separatists because there was a blockade going on there? This was funny that they showed. I really liked how they're like, look, you didn't think about it, but these guys wouldn't know how to bribe people. Or
yeah, I like that. I really like that part.
I really did like that. Obviously, you knew the pig dude was going to turn around.
I like that they're still wearing their gear everywhere.
Know,
like, how's that not a sore thumb thing? Stick out.
So they give Shand here, and of course she's hunting down the child. Which did you guys real quickly on that? Who's your theory? Who put out the bounty for her?
I don't know.
The Kaminoan?
Right?
Yeah, I think that
Kaminoans?
Could it be the Kaminoans?
Kaminoans?
That's kind of what I was thinking. But
Yeah, them.
But they said in the last episode, didn't they say bring him back or something?
They said they said we only need one back.
Oh, okay.
So I think they could have done it. Of course, she wants a stormtrooper kid doll thing. She's petting the doll. There was actually a lot of resistance crap that was thrown in here, by the way. And maybe we'll get into it later, but those little pet things were from the resistance. Those little puppy type things were. There's also a droid that they did that was
the weird cats, right?
Look, hey, thank you, Dave. I'm glad you got the promotion. We were right. They were putting him under John for a year, and then he was going to get moved up. That happened. Star Wars news not breaking news anymore. So good on us for that. But at the same point, stop trying to push your resistance crap on us, or we're going to go over to Death Car 94, who says Kathleen Kennedy's going to be fired all the time, and you're going to get fired for that too, because I'm done with resistance, bro. I know what Sick Boy says. It's good, but it's not. Okay. Echo right here. They rip off a shop owner, and they do that by acting like Echo's a robot, which was pretty funny. I liked it, but now they're just hoodlums, right? Like they're just stealing stuff, ripping off people.
It's not stealing. They conned him.
Yeah. Okay. They stole money from him. Once again, so then we get back here, we get another protocol.
What's that? He gave it to them under false pretenses. Stealing is they pulled out their guns, they took their money, they held him up. No, they just deceived him.
They stole from him. All right, so there we go. He goes back to another protocol droid. Have you noticed that they'll never give another protocol droid a male voice? It's always female voices. Why is that? Like the CP protocol droid. I don't know, but
maybe it's Anthony Daniels' contract or something.
Yeah, he can only be the. Anyways, so there you go. You get her throwing a fit. They've all got restraining bolts. There, see that droid in the middle with the little legs that was wobbly?
Awesome.
That's a Resistance droid. It's from Resistance, the TV
is
show.
It? I don't know.
Boys, is that not from Resistance? Yeah, he says, hey.
Yeah.
I like that too.
I was a little disappointed we didn't get a bucket cameo.
Yeah. Don't worry. It's still coming, guys. So that's a little disappointing, but fine. They start another droid grotto revolt. I double added in these pictures because I might have been a little hungover this morning when I did this. We got her back. They did a good job with Shan, I thought, especially how she kind of maneuvered in there. It's kind of creepy. She kind of has a white van down by the river.
Did anybody else keep waiting for her to show her stomach again? Was that? I just.
What do you mean? The metal part, which
from Mando when she has all the metal guts.
This is before the Mando part.
This is before, right?
This is way before. Yeah. Like 12 years, something like that. 20 years. No, 12 years yet, something like that. All right, 19. Anyways, it'd be more than 19. Either way, let's go. They go through, they steal some fruit. She sees the blaster. There's something up with this kid. I don't believe after watching this again. Look, even here, she's fighting the arm. She's got all the senses that you need. And for somebody who's supposed to be a lab rat, she sure does know a lot about fighting and other type of stuff. I do like this relationship, the older brother Wrecker relationship that Omega has. Is that what we're calling it now? No more Omega, right? It's Omega.
No, it's Omega. She's the only one who says Omega.
Well, if she pronounces her name Omega, that's how you pronounce the name. If you come to me and say my name is Muku, but I pronounce it Marco, you call me Marco because that's how I pronounce my name. So she's Omega or whatever.
That's how. The only reason it's not Omega to everyone else is because D. Bradley Baker is like the voice for everyone else in the series. So
yeah, fair enough.
It's only got one.
Hey, for this scene right here, this is what's coming up. Well, I don't know if it's before or after the shot, but don't you think he kind of gets his butt kicked a little easy?
Yeah.
by the bounty
hunter?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to bring up. The only problem is he's getting hit in the head a lot. And also, to a little bit of a gap. Last episode, they had the headache situation, but then he got knocked out and he didn't have a headache here. So, I mean, what's going on with the headache thing? I think they need to resurface that. They might
that's where I
reorder
was
these
going.
later.
Every time he gets hit in the head now, I expect him to have like a, flip of the switch, and he's suddenly like a good soldier follows orders type of scene or something.
Asajj. So they're messing with Asajj and Asajj Ventress. All right, so here we go. There's a train battle. She gets away. She jumps. Also, she's got a lot of skills for a little kid. We get back to this.
Sensitive.
Okay. She's not force sensitive. Okay, so Echo breaks out and tells the owner that he's a human and refuses to pay back the money and just takes off, and they go into the ship.
He doesn't have the money. He can't pay it back.
Whatever.
Hunter's got it.
And took the droids to go fix the ship while you're
But
at
he
it.
let them go back. He didn't keep the droids. They should have. They should have.
Then she goes off into space, and then this is what we were bringing up the question. She's looking up who hired her. I do think it was the cloners. I think we're all down that it was the cloners, right?
Why would it be the cloners, though?
Because they needed one species. They only need one person back. Well,
it could also be the Empire. I mean, they've hired bounty hunters before.
The Empire's relationship with bounty hunters wasn't always the best. That was more of a Darth Vader thing than it was an Empire thing.
I mean, they kind of let her go with them. So why would they want to hunt to get her back? Like, it seems kind of productive.
Also, am I the only one that thinks that they might have been at the end of the last episode referring to Boba Fett? Like, because we only need one of the Fetts? Because they talked about like the true string or whatever.
You're right. It could be that we only need one, and it could be Fett. They could be talking about little Boba.
Yeah,
little Boba Fett. All right. Well, Boba Fett isn't so little anymore.
No, he's like a teenage bounty hunter at this point.
A little bit over that. Yeah, he might be in like almost in his 20s. Yeah. Well, yeah, teenager. Yeah.
He's with that, isn't he running around now with that other hot,
just graduated from high school.
Yeah.
Oro Singh and
he's got his little bounty hunter gang going on.
Yep.
Oh yeah, what was the?
Is it the second? No, it would be the set. No, it wouldn't be. It would be
Not
after
Maester.
Clone Wars.
We'd be far past Maester at this point. Maester.
Yes.
Reveal.
Yes.
Yeah. So it'd probably be like 20s, early 20s.
Yeah, he was like a early young teen in Dark Disciples, right? Like,
yeah,
because remember, a couple of years that's when they say
he's like Damian Wayne of Star Wars. Like he's running around killing people at like age like 14.
Yeah. Because in a couple of years, you get seeing the reference of Singh getting thrown off a building.
Yeah,
and you assume. Well, I guess it could be this year. I guess they could be thrown. I guess we could see that in Bad Batch. We could see Singh getting thrown off a building by Woody Harrelson.
Credit to Sticks Boy, he did say that. I think last episode's comments that it could be Boba Fett.
Oh, nice! There you go, Stick Boys. Credit him on that. Good. Agreed with JJ on whatever JJ said. JJ, what'd you say? Oh, the Boba Fett thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which we just stole from Stick Boy anyway, who's part of the crew anyhow. So it's all good as long as it's all in the family and trying to give credit out to the people that deserve it. That guy, I said it for you already. There you go. I will also pronounce Pokemon too. Does anybody want to add on to Bad Batch and how great that this last episode was? Does anybody not like this episode?
I liked it. I just didn't think it was that great. There was some good fun stuff in it, but there was a few things I didn't like. The head getting knocked out. He gets bumped on the head and knocked out right away. I was just like, really? That big.
Go back to yelling the kids on your lawn.
She's a BA. Don't get me wrong. She is BA. But I thought it was just like, took a little bump on the head, nothing, no other story. And again, I want to see what's the big deal with Omega. Just give me a little something.
But you want the end already. No, just like let it
no, I just want a little. I wanted a little hint.
A hint.
4 episodes in.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be what isn't it? 6? Is it 16? It's 16 and 16.
16.
We got to get. Yeah, we got to get. It's 32 here, bro. So like, it's going to be a slow burn. It's only short shows now too. Give it to me, Wookie.
Fuel, and they stopped for food, and they got neither. They just fixed this ship and got some money and
she
left.
sold the food, and they got tons of money. That little droid will be the next figure, no doubt. All right, Solo, how many helmets are you giving it?
It's a 3.
It's not awful.
No, that's actually pretty good. That's an average show. Okay, yeah. JJ, how many helmets do you give it? Do you have any added questions?
I'm kind of with Solo's opinion that It seemed like a filler episode. It's a little too early for another filler episode, but I give it 3.5.
I mean, they have an enemy now following them. I just don't
Yeah,
think it's the enemy.
I like the
everybody
fact
wanted.
that they in the toss back to Shan that gives them like an extra half a point. You know,
All right. Johnson, what do you got? Jedi?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4. I liked it. Like I said, for a lot of the reasons you've already said, we get a sense that they're, we know they're being hunted now. We have another question. Okay, who's hunting them? We don't need all the answers right now. They got, we got to build up to this, kind of build the suspense. I will note that, Wrecker getting knocked out was a little disappointing. But, when I stopped and think, I think, I can't think of his name. Hunter got knocked out pretty easily last week too, right? So maybe there's something
in this one too.
Yeah, he got knocked
she knocked
out.
him out real quick.
Yeah, maybe that's
You
their
guys gotta get
Achilles
checked for
heel. You hit
CTE.
them in the noggin and they're down for 10 minutes. I don't know. Anyway, I liked it. Even though you knew she was going to run off chasing, and I like it when they tie the storylines together with the bounty hunter, all that stuff. I just found interesting. So. And it makes me want to look forward to the next episode. So
I did like Echo as a droid too. I didn't say that.
Yeah,
that was funny. I like that. Yeah,
that was cool. Pete,
keep up the 4. I'm also at a 4. Like I get it. All right, so you want to complain about Wrecker getting knocked out? I think he just underestimated who he was facing off against for that bit. But outside of that, we got to see they are being chased. We got a bounty hunter that we know being reintroduced into the series. We get little bits. Little interesting tidbits, like Marco, you brought up with them. They didn't know how to bribe the dude. They're like, is this enough? How about now? Like, I like that aspect. They don't understand the concept of money. They don't know how to pay for things. They just are given things. Like, they do their job. They get what they need. That's all they know. So them learning this, new world, also a fan of. I liked Echo being the droid. I thought that was kind of fun. Yeah, there was a nice little chase sequence. I think there was a lot of things building here that I enjoyed. I enjoyed it. So I'm giving this a solid 4 because it was to me at least, a fun episode of what we got to come.
this is what I'll agree with. 100% I'm giving it a 4-2. And because of a lot of stuff Pete said, but an add-on. When I asked the question, who do you think called? That's why. If you're the Empire, you're sending our man over there, Deadshot, the sniper. You're sending him the crew. Yeah, Crosshair.
Oh, Crosshair,
You're sending Crosshair and them after it. So it's got to be somebody, in my opinion, I think it's somebody else, and they're adding that in. So
they don't know where they are, right?
What?
They don't know where they are at this point. They can't just send Crosshair on a mission when they don't know where he is.
No, I think what he's saying, I think it's not the Empire who's hired.
What I'm saying is, in the grand storyline, you introduce another person to come in, plus
another player.
Plus, when you saw the movie and you saw the first one and the first episode, they had gone through almost the majority of the trailer. When you saw Shan here, the stuff that they actually showed in the trailer wasn't the same stuff that they just showed there. So we're getting that's still going to be there, and there's still going to be a Crosshair thing, and the Crosshair redemption story, which I think a lot of us, including Jedi's wife, is expecting, still has the opportunity to come out. Which means there's still a lot more because Shan isn't going to be the big bad, and neither is Crosshair. Which means there's still a monstrous, bad, big, enormous bad coming out of this. And I think that this episode explained that. While you're saying we're not explaining a lot of things, they are. They're giving the back details about maybe she was a lab rat on an Omega, but she somehow doesn't know the planets. She's seeing all this stuff for the first time. They had to do a little bit about, like Pete said, about how these guys don't know what they're doing out there. And Wrecker he head first. If you lead with your head, bro, you're going to get knocked out.
Plus, weren't those
fun?
I mean?
Like stop leading with your head.
Fun how they broke the team up like that way? Yeah. Like you wouldn't plan it out to be. You break the 4 up. You wouldn't think, hey, let's put Tech with Wrecker and Hunter with Echo. Like they didn't keep the 2 techie guys together and the 2 fighty guys together. They split them up. It was an interesting,
it's interesting, and also too that they're just bossing around Echo, who's the only reg in the group. Like he just gets crapped on all the time.
Was it? Quick question: does anybody else think that him dressing up as a droid was a callback to Rookies? Because in that episode of Clone Wars, doesn't somebody dress up as a droid to fool the droids or something? Am I imagining that part?
Jedi. I don't know. Sorry, I'm reading.
I can answer that question right now.
I'm trying to go back to think of that one.
I remember somebody impersonating a droid, but I don't know.
And Astro, yeah, I agree with that. I think that's where that came from too. So far as I haven't had a chance to watch this episode. Sorry about spoiling it, Marvel. All right, we
Fun.
really do appreciate everybody there. VK, good to see you. Obviously, Gonzo, always great. Make sure you're checking out Toy Hunting with Gonzo. He's got a great episode coming up there. Make sure you're checking out MCM and Renovision. Always doing great stuff over there on Renovision. Boys and girls, it's been a long week, as usual.
Yep.
I think that's where we say this.